just conversated, and my mother just said goodbye. Because the living down there out of reach. Been coming to get a tax break, but ain't no break for me, cause money talk. You know I ain't gonna lie. Me and my mother just had a conversation. And my mother just said goodbye. My financial situation in a natural mess. And I'm telling you that's the truth, people. The truth with 2 F. Good money talk. Woo! I ain't lying. I ain't gonna lie. Me and my mother just conversated. And my mother just said goodbye. There you go. Tell you, it's sad, but it's true. If your money start running out, your woman could start running too, because money talks. I ain't lying. Me and my money had a conversation, and money just said goodbye. There it goes. Money talks.
Okay, so sorry, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty, but I'm just gonna say that was my old friend Doug MacLeod, who we really haven't hooked up for years.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to interview him because it's really been years. And here, I'm going to just do one little more cutting and pasting, sir. And then Doug MacLeod. I'm doing cutting and pasting. He said he really doesn't, know what I'm talking about, but guitar, vocals, composer, the blues. Okay, so got almost finished here. Save, and I think I'm going to be good.
All right.
So, it's hi, Joyce. Hey, Joyce, check out Facebook for me and see if it's working. I just want to make sure it is actually working because it's doing something Joyce, weird. Check out Facebook. Okay. I'm not really sure. Oh, well, let's see. Yeah, there's something weird happening. Not sure. Okay. Well, the picture is very tiny, but you don't care, Doug. Okay, here I am, Doug MacLeod. So, man, first of all, when did you move to Memphis?
We moved Memphis, let me see, 2019, 2018, something like that.
Okay, not too long. So, from LA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing that we never bumped into each other for years?
Yeah, I was thinking about that when Mitzi got in touch with me and she mentioned your name, and I said, "My goodness, that's a name out of the past." That's like so. It's really something to be here with you today, talking to
Yeah.
you. It's been a lot of years.
You are definitely a blues artist, right? So I wouldn't have if I didn't go look for you in the blues field, I that's why I probably never bumped into you, right?
Yeah, I am, and I'm also acoustic blues, which is you know even another smaller niche than blues, really.
Yay for small niches.
They're doing all right with me, so I knock on wood.
Did you ever play jazz?
I tried to play jazz. I was a big Kenny Burrell fan,
Okay.
and um, I'll tell you a little story. I know when I opened for BB King many years ago, I was on his bus and waiting to meet him, and Kenny Burrell's Blue Bash was on, and I said to his driver, I said, "That's Kenny Burrell." He said, "Yeah, BB's a big fan of Kenny Burrell." And I said, I am too. And I wanted to play jazz because when I heard Kenny Burrell, that tone and how bluesy he was, or is, his style is very bluesy. And I tried to do that. And well, I'll tell you a story. I used to go see Hampton Halls every
Okay. Yeah.
Tuesday at the Baked Up Potato.
Uh-huh.
And I was really enthralled by his music, the way he could play these gospel blues things and jazz. And then he would go what, the jazz musicians call outside the key.
Yeah.
And that sounded good too. It didn't sound like somebody just trying to go outside the key and come back. It sounded really good.
Yeah.
So he got done with Chuck Niles' show on KBCA back in the day.
Yeah.
And I went to see if I could meet him. And I did. And he had seen me like every Tuesday, and he knew who I was. He didn't know my name, but he knew I was a fan. So I said to him, I said, "Mr. Hawes, I'd like to play with you." And he said, "You would?" I said, "Yes, I would." And I say, I play the guitar. And somehow he was nice enough to say, "Okay, I live off the Pomona Freeway." So I got the directions, and I went to his house, and I walked up this steps to his home, and we sat down at the piano, and I took out my guitar, and he played a blues in B flat, and I said, "Oh man, I got this, I got this, yeah." And he said, "Oh," afterwards he said, "Yep, that sounds good." He said, "Now let's do this." Then he started this introduction that I did what a lot of guitar players do when they don't know the key. They go up one fret at a time till they try and find it. I'm going like this here. And I couldn't find it. Ended up Hampton Hawes was playing Stella by Starlight, and I was playing Fella by Barlight. So
Fellow by Barlight.
so what happened? I got done. He said, well, he said, "You sure can play blues, but said, just need a little more time with the jazz thing." I said, "I found that out."
That's
But
funny.
I have a great respect for jazz. When I'm driving or flying to the gigs and stuff, and I hear jazz, I love how they do it, and how they're able to do it. And by the same token, I say to myself, "Thank God I don't have to make my living doing it because I couldn't do it."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could if that's what you were into, because you're making a living playing the blues. You know,
Well,
Hampton Hawes. I'll tell you my Hampton Hawes story. So, and this was probably when I knew you. When I moved here in 76, 70, yeah, I moved here in 76 or late 75. And my first job was a waitress at Dante's, the jazz
Oh
club.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hampton Hawes used to play there. And so, and I started sitting in with people, and Hampton was going to have me and a male singer. He was going to create like a singer thing,
Mhm.
with this guy and me. And then he died.
Oh,
And I
oh,
was like, ah, because I really
oh.
loved Hampton Hawes too.
Me too.
He was a very nice man too.
I thought so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and a
and talented.
beautiful, yeah, beautiful player.
Just yeah.
So I guess we both had brushes with Hampton
I
Hawes.
guess so.
Well, let's see. So you're in Memphis. Actually, I know somebody else who moved to Memphis who's an amazing drummer. Do you know Bob Moses?
I haven't run into him yet.
Bob Moses was kind of like a weather report type of musician,
Oh,
and
okay.
he lived in Boston for years. And you would probably love him. He's a real character, a great, really great guy, and a great musician. And a few years ago, he moved to Memphis because he was just tired of the Boston, what had
Hmm.
kind of become, in Boston. He wanted to kind of get away from it. But I mean, he's still a very respected and wonderful player. I'm gonna hook you guys up because you'll love him.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
great. I play around here when I'm off the road.
yeah.
I play barbecue places and stuff. I love that, And down
And
in Mississippi,
barbecue.
which I still love, I just love doing that. I love being. It feels like home to us, my wife and I.
Yeah. I'm writing myself a note so I remember. Yeah, I can't wait for that introduction. That's gonna be really fun. Yeah, he's kind of improvisational, along those lines. But yeah, I used to when I was in college. I just loved his music. It was really good, kind of like Weather Report.
Hmm.
Not, just kind of that kind of genre. You know. Anyway, so okay, so on these noontime hangs, I don't necessarily like to list all your accomplishments. Da 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 da. I'm more into like what's your point of view? What's some of your experiences? What are you doing now? Anything else that you want to talk about? But it's just well, one actually, I'm curious why you moved from LA. Were you doing okay in LA, or Memphis just called to you, or
That's a real good question. My wife was a teacher for years in Los Angeles, and she was going to retire. And her name's Patty Joy, and she's originally from the Texas area, and I'm originally from St.
yeah,
St. Louis. And
yeah,
after the bluesmen passed away, they died. There was a change in Los Angeles, and I felt an emptiness there. And a lot of people don't realize what a major blues scene was going on Central Avenue and South Central Los Angeles from the late 70s up until the 90s, up until like 90 or 89, 90. I was fortunate enough to play with such people like Big Mama Thornton, Big Joe Turner, George Harmonica Smith, Pee Wee Creighton, Cleanhead Vincent, Lowell Fulson. I mean, it was all there. And when they died, I could feel something leave. And I'd been going to Memphis for years for the Blues Music Awards and the International Blues Challenge. And it seemed like every time I was leaving Memphis, Memphis would pull my coat and say, "Come here, Doug." And he said, "Take this with you when you go. Remember me." And so when Patty Joy retired, she wanted to go to Houston. And I said, well, why don't you come to Memphis with me? And she said, well, I'm not so sure. I said, well, why don't you just come? Why don't you just come and see what you feel? And there's something about this city. When you get here, as a musician, you feel something because there's a whole lot of music came out of this area, a whole lot of American, roots type music, soul and blues and rockabilly and rock and roll, all come out of this area. And she sensed it. And we were going up the elevator to Sheridan Hotel, and the Mississippi was out there. It was that out one that you could see the Mississippi. And she just turned around to me. She says, Doug, I'm going to get us a house here. And she did. And that's where I'm talking to you from right now.
Yeah, I think I have been to Memphis maybe once. I sang on the Mississippi Queen
Okay.
um, as a sub, really, because a jazz singer like me, it's not really the Mississippi Queen. It's a lot more two beat, you know.
Hmm.
And that's not my thing. I'm a little different vibe anyway. But I subbed several times on there, and I remember Mississippi. It was really nice, and um, yeah, it was beautiful. Well, I loved the Mississippi anyway. That was really a nice trip to be on.
Yeah, it is. It
Steam
is.
steamroller. You know,
What kind of roller?
so
I missed that. What kind of roller?
steam a steamroller.
A
A
steamroller.
steamroller.
Okay.
Yeah. The boats with the wheels,
Oh, you're talking about a paddle
the
wheel.
small boats that are on the
Yeah.
Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're still here. There's a few of them here still.
Yeah. Yeah, I had fun singing on them. They were fun. So yeah, so let's talk about the blues. You must be an encyclopedia, you know. What what how would you like if you were talking to people who didn't really know what the blues were? What what would you say? How would you describe the blues?
Hmm. Well, the best way I could describe it to you uh, is like when I do workshops or speaking things. I talk about this old country blues singer that I met when I was 19 years old. I was in the Navy, and I had shore duty. Cathy, you're looking at one of the few sailors in the history of the United States Navy that never got on a ship. I never, I never did that.
Really?
Yeah, honest to
Oh
God,
my
I
gosh.
never got on a ship. And but there was a great folk music scene going on in Norfolk, Virginia. Famous people. There's like Judy Kay, that's Juice Newton, Amy Lou Harris, the jazz guitar player John Carlini, the Ox Pedals, Group Nine. There's all this music going on. And me, I had heard Colonel Rain Glover, and I'd heard some Tom Rush, and I figured being in the Navy, if I can get in these coffee houses and pick up my guitar and sing these songs, and no one was doing those kind of blues songs, I said maybe I can get me some girls, So I think this would be a good idea. So I auditioned
I
for
don't
this
know
guy,
why
and he said,
guitar players always have that story.
"Well, it's true. I'm being just being
Guitar
honest,
players
huh?"
always have that story. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know why, but guitar players always started guitar for, related to getting girls. But anyway,
well,
that's another story.
that's the story. So that's what I was doing. I was playing. And they started to really like me. And I thought I was really doing blues. I really did. And then to make
Okay.
matters worse, the newspaper came by and they did a stories on a few of us. And they called me the king of the blues of Tidewater. And now I started to believe it. So I was brash when I was younger, and so I was kind of full of myself. And this one guy named Larry come up to me after a set, and he said, "You want to meet a guy that ran with Blind Lemon Jefferson?" And I said, "Yeah," but not that he was going to teach me anything. I was going to show this old black guy how good I was. See, so I said, "Sure." So Larry, he took us up to Toano, Virginia, which is halfway between Norfolk and Richmond, on the 60 highway. And then when we got there, the road was, now it's called Chickahominy Road. Back in those days, it was just a dirt road. And you went back down that road till you found the magnolia tree. And at the correct magnolia tree, that's where you turned right. And you went back up into the woods. And that's where this man lived. And we knocked on the door opened. And that's when I met this man who was known to me as Ernest Banks. And he was about 5'6", 190 pounds, chocolate skin, one eye. And he said, "What you want?" And Larry said, "Well, we come up here, to see you." He said, "All right, well, come on in." So we go in and we sit down. And he said, "All right, now, what do you boys want?" And Larry said, "Well, we'd like to hear you play some blues." He said, "I ain't going to play any blues." And we said, "Why?" And he said, "My wife died and she's in heaven and I want to join her in heaven. So I'll play you spiritual music, but I ain't playing no blues." Well, that's not why we came there. So Larry says, "Look, we bought some wine. Well, would you like a glass of wine?" And Mr. Banks says, "Oh, yeah, that sounds good." So he sips the wine and drinks the wine a little bit. Then he sits back and he goes, "Well, I guess one blues won't hurt." And then he looks at me and he says to Larry, "Is this the boy you talking about?" And Larry nods his head. And he said, "Play for me, boy." So I pick up my guitar and I played what I played in the coffee house, which I thought was really good. And when I got done, I looked at him as if to say, "What do you think of that, old man?" And he says to me, he says, "Give me your guitar, boy." And he takes my guitar and he retunes it in about 10 seconds, picks up a copper pipe, puts it on his finger, and commences playing. Now, I heard this music on record, but I never heard it live. And I never was in the presence of it. When I was in the presence of this, I never heard or saw anything like it. His dynamics, the way he sang, the way his guitar answered his voice, the space that he used, the groove that was going on. It was just one man, and he's playing with so much power. And then he could bring it way, way down. And he'd play something, and then he'd look at me with that one eye, as if to say, "Can you do that, boy?" And I knew I couldn't do that. And he'd keep on playing. And he'd do it again. "Can you do that one, boy?" So I knew, Cathy, if I took my eyes off of that man, I would never see him again. Never. So I kept watching him. And he must have played for 5 minutes. It felt like 35 minutes. I've never been so embarrassed in my whole life. And then when he gets done, he sits back and he says, "Which one moved you more, boy? Yours or mine?" I said, "Yours did, Mr. Banks." He goes, "Mm-hmm." He said, "You want to be a blues man, boy?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Never play a note you don't believe and never write or sing about where you don't know about." He said, "Can you do that, boy?" I said, "No, sir, I can't do that." And he said, "Well, then you ain't a blues man, is you, boy?" Um, that's a hell of a thing to say to the king of the blues of Tidewater. So we were walking out and he put his arm around me and he said, "You know where I live now, boy, don't you?" And I said, "Does this mean I can come back?" And he said, "You ain't deaf too, are you, boy?" So years have gone on. And from all my experience with all the other blues men I've been with and traveled with, they have a way of two meanings. So I now think that what he meant by that, do I know where he lives now, was, do I know which magnolia tree to turn right at to go back up into the woods to his place? or did I know where he lived musically? The honesty that he was talking about.
Yeah.
The next time I saw him, you know, he never taught me anything. I could sit with him, play. He liked what I was doing, you know. He would, but he wouldn't say this is this and this is this.
Yeah.
And I started to learn what this music was all about. And that's what I would tell blues, what I would tell people what blues is. The blues that I came up with, that I was exposed to, was honesty. Whatever you felt that time, at that night, not what you think the audience wants to hear or nothing. It's what it's ever here. You've got to bring that out. That's the honesty that I learned from that old man.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful, the authentic stuff. Um, so, are you these days like what we saw in the very beginning was you solo, and this concert coming up in the desert, is that a
Yeah.
solo concert? Solo. So, do you are you playing more solo, or it just depends on the gig?
No, I've been playing solo. The first solo album came out in '94, and I tour solo. Every once in a while, I do what I call a Mississippi trio, which is me and a drummer. We call that Mississippi trio because your right hand, the bass is going. I got a lot of bass going in my right hand, my thumb, and I can play the lead with this finger.
Yeah.
And you know, just get a drummer, and we just play together. There's a great drummer here in Memphis called Tom Leonardo, and he and I play every once in a while. And we do what I call the Mississippi trio, you know, just the two of us.
Yeah. Cool. Um, I'm going to have Mitzi come on in a while, but tell us about this concert coming up in Southern California desert.
Yeah, no, I never even knew there was a town called Borrego Springs, and I think I lived there almost 35 or 40 years and never knew it.
Yeah.
But it's I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a solo, right? But it's just not music with me. It's stories and, you know, hopefully some things that are funny that the people will laugh at, you know, hopefully. And that's what it would be. And it'll be however long Mitzi says, this how long you play, and then that's how long I'm playing, you know.
Well, it's coming up, right? Is it
Yeah.
tomorrow or is it
No, 2 weeks
it's
away. Let me see.
is it
It's
tomorrow?
2 weeks. Yeah. Because I'm gonna be in
2 weeks.
Ohio this next week, and then I'm home for just a few days, and then go out to Southern California. Hmm.
Okay. So when Mitzi comes on, I'll talk about it. And there's you know, people can go out. Like if I was going to be able to come out, I would come out and stay overnight at a
Hmm.
hotel, and you know, because it's a long drive, and see the show and then drive home. But so but yeah, well, like I said, I'll talk about that with Mitzi.
Yeah.
So how are you on the road like
Hmm.
a tremendous amount?
Not as much as it used to be. There's no more of those 6 or 7, 8 week runs. Those are done. I don't do that, but I'll go out for a
Yeah.
weekend. I'm going out for a week here, and it's like a residency. I'm gonna be in Marietta, Ohio, for the whole time, and then going to um, there'll be middle school, high school, a college, and I'll be doing what they call blues in the schools, where you know, tell the story like I did to you, and um, to tell the students about this music, and well, then we'll play some. You know, I'll have them pick up their instrument and start with something real easy. Um, Probably just give them this it's called a minor pentatonic scale, and it's in
Yeah.
the major key, and then they can hear it, and the different things that I teach with that I learned from that old
Yeah.
man so many years ago.
what do you like about teaching in that way?
Seeing the light go on in the students' eyes. That's what I like. Now, like I do a special thing. It's in Clarksdale,
Yeah.
which is right down the road here from Memphis, and it's called the Pine Top Perkins Teaching Experience, where these young students come. They're teaching harmonica, guitar, acoustic guitar, piano, voice. They're teaching all this, and to see these young musicians that are really into blues and they want to learn these things like the tunings. I don't know if you know this or not, Cathy, but acoustic blues, there are many tunings. You use like I use 7 tunings when I play, and I have one guitar because I'm so old school. I'm like, that's what Honey Boy Edwards did, Big Joe Williams, they all use one instrument. I'm the same way. And now that I'm older, I don't want to be carrying a lot of stuff. It's going to be one guitar. That's it.
Yeah.
So I tell them these different tunings, and like one student said, "Why do you do these tunings?" I said, "For the bass." I said, "You can open string bass, the 2 bottom strings of the guitar, you can alternate. And then you go to the third fret, and it all lives there. You can get all the funk you want out of that. You put a groove on it. And when they see that, they go, oh, so that's how that guy played that. They detuned the guitar and they made it happen. I said, yeah, yeah. As Mr. Banks said, if there's an easy way to do it or a hard way to do it, why are you picking the hard way to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. Is there a piece that you can think of that we can listen to either on the record or just a live video that where we can check that out?
Yeah, there's one too. There's somewhere on the video there is a song called let me think now because it's in too many details. The Night of the Devil's Road.
Okay.
And that the live video of that it's in the tuning I call Too Many D's. That has that thing and the groove that's set up. Too Many D's is not a standard tuning that the old bluesmen used. They used open D tuning, open D minor tuning, but I could never get the F, not the F for the D minor tuning. I could never get that right. My ear wouldn't do it. So what I did was I just said there's going to be no third in this tuning. It's just D-A-D, D-A-D, and then I can make a third somewhere. But the guitar is just tuned in fifths or fourths, however that is.
Okay. Well, I think I found it here. Okay.
This is how the brain of a procrastinator functions compared to
Get past the ad.
It's a song that goes back to an old guy that I can't.
Yeah, that's probably it.
If
Yeah,
you
the
know
big
a little
lounge.
bit
That's
about
probably
me, I
it.
mentioned a guy by the name of Ernest Banks that I learned from. This was not him. This was some guy that was certified crazy. I mean, no, I've changed my mind. I'm going to do another song instead. Exactly like this. I just changed my mind. So forget that beautiful conversation we just had. I think I'll close with this song here.
What song you doing, Doug?
But I can say that song I was going to do it's a great song. The song you're about to hear right now is a song about the elder's wife and the Right Reverend Jones. And the night the people came to call, the night of the Devil's Road. When reached to the night, like fingers on a hand from hell. Long country road, have a story to tell about the elder wife and a preacher who fell. When the preacher's sermons, she stared up at his hands. And they were kind, they were gentle, like no other man's. How she could love another, she could not understand. See, the elder's wife was a mistreated lady. She known years of abuse, in hope now faded. She called the preacher that night. She said, "Preacher, can you keep me from crazy?" Preacher got to the door. She said, "Help me, please." He put his arms around her. He could feel the need. Then she brought him down. And for once, she was free. She was free.
We like tacos? No. You guys relax. We're gonna play
Preacher
later.
left town.
We gotta do this right now.
Lived
gotta
behind
do
his
this.
Bible and roll. No wonder why he turned her up and go.
I know. That's all right.
Except the elder's wife and the Right Reverend Jones.
I'm down.
And now you, my listener, that know the story of the Devil's Road. Thank y'all so very much. Been a pleasure to come here and play for you. Thank you.
Keep it going, everyone. Doug MacLeod. How about that for soul satisfying, huh?
Cool, man. Very cool. Sounds great.
Thanks.
Yeah, really great. Yeah. I had I had a thought while I was listening. That's the guitar that you bring on the road. Is that the guitar?
Well, sometime that's a national tricone that they actually made for me years ago. Um, but I've had this problem with my left hand. So now I'm taking a Waterloo, which is it's made by Collins Guitars, and they Bill Collins, before he passed away, wanted to make a guitar that was like the old Stellas from the Depression era,
Oh,
and that's what this one is. It's a spruce top, cherry back and sides, a very funky guitar. It's got its own unique sound. It's like I say, if we move in next door to you, your lawn dies. That's how funky it is.
okay. That's funny. Oh, we have a French guitarist here, Frédéric Loiseau. Hi, Frédéric. He's a wonderful jazz player. He's in Paris.
Well, hi, Frederick.
That's cool, man. Yeah, so okay. So I feel like I have a small amount of time, so I'm kind of thinking what I can really get into talking about with you. How about recordings?
How about what?
Recordings.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of recordings, right?
Yeah, about, I don't know, 25, 27, like that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I've been real fortunate, been able to make a career of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Have those been on a label, or have you self-produced any?
No, they're all on labels. I go way back to the days when you and I met, when I had the band. The first record was on High Tone Records.
Oh yeah.
And then we made 2 in Germany. And then the last one that the band did was Ain't the Blues Evil, and that was on Volt, which was a division of Fantasy at that time. Then I started playing acoustic again, solo again, because I talked to my wife, Patty Joy, and it was like I didn't feel like I was connected to the audience with the band. Not that the band was bad, the band was great. It was just that I wasn't connecting like I wanted to. So I started to play acoustic again, and ran into Joe Harley of Audio Quest Music, audiophile company. And well, I'll tell you exactly what happened. I was a pallbearer at Big Joe Turner's funeral, and that's only because Pee Wee Creighton had died before that. But I was a pallbearer at Joe's funeral, and when I was there at the gravesite, a gentleman by the name of Floyd Lasky said to me and said, "Hey, Doug, do you know Joe Harley of Audio Quest?" And I said, "No." He said, "Why don't you send him a tape of what you do? He just might want to record you." So it was like a shot in the dark. I sent it to him, and maybe a month later, get a phone call. It was Joe. He said, "Why don't you come down to Audio Quest and let's talk about doing an album together?" I was okay. Went down there, and then we set up this album, and that was 94, and I've been making records every year or every year and a half ever since.
For the same label?
Oh, no, goodness, no.
Yeah.
No. Let me think. Audio Quest, and it was Black and Tan, and then it was Reference Recordings, and then Valley Entertainment. Now we're back with Reference, and back and forth, up and down.
Yeah. Frederick wants to know who your favorite blues musician, guitarist in blues history is.
Who the favorite? I could barely hear you there, Cathy.
Your favorite blues musician / guitarist in blues history.
I can't name one. That wouldn't be right. Let me see if I can name a few, because of the different styles of blues. There's many different styles of blues. There's acoustic blues, electric blues. Electric blues, just like any blues guitar player, B.B. King, one note. He could say more with one note than most people got to say with 25. B.B. could just hit one note and was there. Also enjoyed Albert King. Acoustically, I would say Big Bill Broonzy because of his right hand, the power that he had. When you talk about powerful right hands, you got to think about Memphis Minnie, a lady who was doing this acoustic blues, and she was great. Tampa Red for slide, Sun House. Just, I would say those, and of course Lightning Hopkins. Those would be my favorites. And blues guitar player Kenny Burrell. Yeah, I'd have Kenny Burrell in there too.
That's funny. Yeah. That's cool. Oh man. So sure, Frederick. He said thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, Frederick.
He's a lovely player, lovely guy. Um, so I'm trying to think of what you said. You talked about being in the Navy and
Mhm.
going to coffee houses and playing.
Right.
So when you were a kid, how early did you pick up the guitar?
Well, I started off as a bass player
Oh,
because I wasn't the best guitar player of the four guys in the band. So I ended up playing bass and playing bass, especially um, we lived in the New York area for a while. And then we moved to St. Louis. And that's, of course, where I heard blues. And that's where I started playing bass in the blues bands. And I remember one of the first blues bands I played with. Um, it was a mixed band, which was kind of rare back in those days, 1960s, you know,
yeah.
rare thing. I remember the leader of the band, he said, "You the bass player?" I said, "Yes." He said, "All you do is play the big fat dumb notes." Because he wanted to have that groove, Cathy, with a good shuffle drummer. And
Yeah,
the bass player just putting like telephone poles down the highway, that's all
right.
you need, right? And you
Yeah,
get the people dancing and stuff. So
right.
that was my first introduction to how to play in a
Well,
blues band.
that'll set you up for life, though, right?
So that's a good
Timing,
thing, though, right? I
timing.
mean,
Yeah,
really, you can do so much with just a few notes,
yeah.
as long as they're the right ones, right?
I sure know that. Oh my God. I've had conversations with bass players like, you do know that you're setting up the route for the band, right? It's like, hello.
I know, I know. It's I've had that experience too. You know what I mean? Yep.
Yeah. Um, come on now. Okay,
We had a
so
drummer once. I'll tell you a story. I'm not going to call his name, all right? But you might get a kick out of this.
okay.
With the band
Yeah.
and Pee Wee Creighton, we were working with
Yeah.
Pee Wee Creighton, and a guy came up to me and said, "This guy would like to sit in with the band." And I knew the band. It was a big rock band. It was a big time band, and he wanted to sit in. So I asked Pee Wee, and Pee Wee said, "Yeah, have him sit in. Sure, come on in." So Pee Wee calls off this shuffle, and Cathy, it was the worst shuffle you ever heard in your life. It was like a German march or something. And Pee Wee trying to find a groove in there. He's playing less notes and less notes, trying to find a groove. We were all trying to find a groove. And the guy was like all over the place. He was playing all this kind of stuff like this. And so at the end, Pee Wee said to me, and I'm not going to swear, but you all can imagine what he said. He said, who was that guy? And I said, I know, Pee Wee. I said, I know. He said, that was nothing but a hat-sized drummer. I said, what? He said, hat-sized drummer. He plays 6 and 7/8, 7 and 3/11. He said that motherfucker could not play 4/4.
That's funny, man. That is funny. Oh my
Oh,
God. A
we had
hat
some time
size.
with those guys. You know, they always seemed to laugh. We always had a good time playing together, traveling together.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The dogs are going crazy. What you guys look? We still talking. You guys are. Welcome to my house. That's Roscoe who's jumping up and down. And the
You must
guest in
spend,
the nest, that's Taco, but
you
he's just
must
watching this going like, what's going on, you know?
you must spend a lot of time with Rocco. Because he's like very
Oh,
attentive, right?
yeah, he's a rescue.
Oh,
Uh, that was really great. He's a cockapoo, and that's usually you don't get those as rescues,
I
you
know.
know.
Yeah.
So he was really glad to be here, and we're really glad to have him. So everything's supposed to be.
What do you do when you're home generally? I mean, other than attend to Rocco.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Roscoe.
Roscoe, rather.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's all right. Um, I'm cook. I cook. That's mine. I got Creole Acadian blood in me, and
Yeah.
I cook. Heck, I even cooked on the legendary Rhythm and Blues Cruise.
Oh, really?
I did. Yeah. I
Wow.
didn't cook for all the 600 people for that
Yeah,
meal,
yeah, yeah.
but I mean, they asked me for my recipes, and it was really funny because I cook like I play music. I just say, oh, I'll put a little of this in there, and that's good. That'll work. And this here, my poor wife Patty, she had to figure out what the measurements were. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
But we did. We cooked what we called in the Cajun Acadian kind of cooking. It's a lot of it's in one pot, like the French.
Yeah.
So you have your olive oil, your garlic. And now, if that French guitar player is listening, he's going to be saying, "Oh yeah, that's right." You get a Dutch oven, olive oil, garlic, and then you do what we call the Holy Trinity: celery, onion, and pepper. You put that in there, get that all up in there, and then the special sauces and spices that you might have, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
from your mother and so on, and you put that in there, and then some tomatoes, and then maybe whatever protein you want, you
Yeah.
know, shrimp or chicken, sausage, whatever. Put it
Yeah.
in there, cook it up, put it on the stove, and let that thing the whole house smells good, you know, for the whole day. And then when you finally get to eating it, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's what I love doing.
I'll be over soon. Oh my God. That sounds so good. It's been a while since I had stuff like that. I had a friend who used to cook that. Actually, I helped his wife cook what is it called? The pig insides,
Chitlins.
chitlins. So, and then they told me you either cook or you eat, but you don't do both because you can't really. I'm bringing on Mitzi for a minute.
Oh, okay, great.
Hi, Mitzi. Come on on. Come on. Show your face.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey,
Here
there's
I am.
Mitzi. Hey, Mitzi.
Hello, you both. How was your visit?
Good.
Great.
Good. Nice to see you both.
Yes, you.
Looking forward to seeing you in a little over a week and a half, Doug.
That's right.
It's a
That's
week
right. I'm
and a
looking
half,
forward
Doug.
to it too, Mitzi.
It's
So
gonna
let
be
me
good.
just tell the people listening why you're here, Mitzi. Mitzi, although I want to interview Mitzi because she has an incredible history. But right now, Mitzi is working in Borrego Springs and bringing people into um, to the Performing Arts Center. You're kind of building it up. Borrego Springs is past Palm Springs. And so Doug is going to go there on Friday, October 17th. And it's a bit of a drive. So there are some hotels in the area, like Hacienda de Sol is giving a discount. I'm gonna post this for people. And
Wonderful. Thank you.
yeah, so I think it's a great getaway, right? It looks gorgeous, and then you get to hang out. You get to experience Doug MacLeod and Borrego Springs, and who knows, you might even bump into Mitzi.
Most definitely, you will bump into me. Borrego is beautiful. It's an amazing little town that's it's the desert, but you're surrounded by mountains. So the views are spectacular, amazing sunrises and sunsets, and the people there are just nice and caring. And I grew up in a small town in Texas, so it has that same feel to it. We have 3 art galleries, but the music scene was something that I felt like was underrepresented, and I live part of the time in the Los Angeles area, usually Long Beach as well as Austin. So I love music, and part of it's selfish because I want to be in Borrego, but I want to have excellent music choices. So I started bringing music to the Borrego Art Institute last season, just as a test to see what would happen. And it took off. People were thrilled about it. So that this season, the Performing Arts Center asked me if I would start presenting music there. And so they upgraded the lighting system, they upgraded the sound system. I'm remodeling their lobby so that it's really a performing arts center. And the inaugural show that I'm presenting there is Doug. He was my first choice, so I was thrilled that he said yes, and I get a chance to hang out with him. We've crossed paths, several times in decades, but I'm looking forward to having some time with him.
Yeah. How many does the room hold?
Just under 200. I think it's like 196.
Nice. That's a good size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be a nice, intimate, show. It's got brand new seating, and it's going to be a great presentation for him. I'm hoping we can get some film from it.
Yeah. Doug, you have anything to say about that?
I'm looking forward to it. That sounds wonderful to me. I know I'm sitting here. My dog is like, Roscoe is like, I don't know. He's all excited about it too. You excited about that Borrego thing?
Maybe
Yeah.
he wants to come with you, man.
Hey,
But you can't go, Roscoe. You can't go.
Roscoe.
You can't go, Roscoe. No. But see, there the ladies right there. See them?
Hi,
Yeah.
Roscoe.
See
Hi,
that? They're calling your
Roscoe.
name, Roscoe. They're calling your name. Yeah.
That's cool.
This is very down home operation here.
I like that.
We listened to some of Doug's songs online.
Oh,
and,
wonderful.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I
Doug,
just
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just
Not
checking
you.
in with Doug because I think he has to go. Do you have to go, right?
Right around 3:00. Yeah. Are we at 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
we could. I might. They might be telling me it's time for them to go. Do you
I
understand what I'm
know.
saying?
I can stay on with Mitzi for a little bit and she can tell us a
Okay.
little bit more about the concert, but I didn't want to hang you up.
Oh, you're not hanging me up. It was a pleasure to be with you. Tell some stories, and I'm glad the dogs didn't bother you too much. It's just part of the way things are here in my life. Just
Well, it was great to see you. I mean, it's
great to see you
amazing that
too.
you can hook up with people after so many years. And what's always amazing to me, like people you like from 100 years ago are still people you like today, So
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Mitzi kind of alluded to that when we were texting, and it's something about how this life works like that. Yeah, it's just, it makes you think, we
Yeah.
are all connected somehow.
We
yeah,
are all connected.
I really believe that. And
Me too.
but tell you, Mitzi, thanks for making this happen. I appreciate that. And
Absolutely.
and Cathy, it's a pleasure to spend some time with you and have a visit after all these years.
I know it's great. Great to hear you and great to get into your head. Thank you.
Thanks, thanks. Well, I'll leave you ladies, and I will be
We're gonna
walk the
talk
dog,
about
and
you.
then, huh?
We're gonna talk about you.
Oh, well, you can talk about me. You can talk about me. But they're going to talk about me, Taco. They're going to talk about me. What do you think? He said, "Let them talk." That's what he
Let
said.
them let them talk.
That's what he said.
Uh,
You know,
He said, "Let them talk." So
as
go
long as they
ahead.
get the name right, like James Brown said, as long as they get the name right.
That's right. As long as you get the name right, just talk. Enjoy your visit, and thanks
Thank you.
again.
Yeah, I'll see you
Thanks,
next week.
Doug.
Okay. Bye now.
Okay, you have to hit the leave button.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll stay on with us.
I'm trying to hit the leave button. Leave the red button. Oh,
Yep.
I'm gone. Okay. Bye.
He's
Thank you for taking time.
such a pleasure. Oh, I love that him.
Yeah, his music is so delicious and like he said, you don't really hear, well, I mean, I guess if you travel in those circles, uh, like he said, acoustic blues. I think that's how he called it.
Yes,
And
yes.
if you travel in those circles, you're going to hear that. But I mean, I hadn't even seen him for years because even in LA, because I didn't travel in those circles really.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Now there's so many different types of jazz. There's different types of blues, and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it just kind of breaks out.
So let's just talk about. I know you don't have a lot of time, but let's just talk a little bit about Borrego Springs and the Performing Arts Center. You already mentioned, that you all have combined and kind of refurbished the center, and so and that's where you live basically half the time, right? Or some of the time.
Yeah, some of the time I'm still involved in the music industry and travel with that. Part of the time in the LA area, or have a sailboat in Long Beach. But I'm in various parts of LA and Austin. But I love Borrego, and particularly once you come into fall and spring, it's hard to beat. It's stunning. Like my happiest life is just to be outside painting, the building up, and it's
I just wanted to show this picture
yeah, that's
because
that's exactly what it looks like.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, and
Gorgeous.
amazing. It's the desert full of wildflowers and surrounded. It's literally being hugged by mountains and some pretty crazy things to see. Like you got Fonts Point and the the way the Earth craters because it used to be underneath the ocean. It's pretty spectacular if you're someone that likes hiking or you know just taking nice walks or camping. There's some amazing hikes to do out there, and a very indigenous area that actually was an area in which multiple tribes came together for trade. So it's got a great history as well.
So, uh, it used to be under the ocean.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's places to go on hikes where you can actually see like ancient sea life. It's hard to explain, but how
Wow.
spectacular it is.
Wow. And prehistoric or like say, I mean, sculptings of prehistoric animals. Is that right?
There are metals. I don't know if you read about that, but there are
Yeah.
metal sculptures out there. The Avery family owns a lot of land at Avery, as in the office supplies labels.
Oh,
They own a lot of land out there, and they hired an artist that does metal sculptures. And so, as you're driving around, there's metal sculptures. Most of it's animals who are indigenous to the land. We've got a dragon that's not, but it's definitely worth the drive out and see the metal sculptures and take a hike, go camping, be out in nature. Wildflowers usually start somewhere February, March, but I think it's beautiful out there pretty much all the time. And it just the people there is really what it's about. That it's a real sense of community, and I miss that.
Yeah.
So I got involved with the Borrego Art Institute and started bringing music there, and sometimes jazz, sometimes Latin, sometimes bluegrass, sometimes rockabilly, just to see what would go well. And everyone's been so appreciative and showing up. Like this weekend, I have uh, an art opening at the Borrego Art Institute, and I'm bringing, some djembe drummers and fire dancers because it's the opening season. So I'm excited about that. Then the first show at the Performing Arts Center is Doug.
That's so cool. And so people are showing up.
People are showing up. The shows at the Borrego Art Institute, or I just say, at the art. Um, those shows are free to the public, and that's something that I intend to carry on. And then the shows at the Performing Arts Center are, definitely affordable. I've got 5 shows that I'm presenting this season, and everyone's excited about that. People are excited about Doug, the shows after it. I try to do a little bit of everything. Doug, of course, is, traditional, acoustic blues, blues legend. Then the next show in November is a family band called Darden, and that's the day after Thanksgiving, because so it'll have a family feel to it. But it's 3 sisters and 2 brothers that sing kind of Americana. Then in January, I have a young blues guy that's in the vein of, say, Johnny Lang.
Yeah.
Um, and then the Jazz Salon from Long Beach will be there, and I think that's February, and a Latin jazz band called Incendio, which are just phenomenal, are going to be there in March.
Cool. It's great. You're a busy person.
Yeah, but it's fun, and it gives me great joy to see people smiling and enjoying themselves and having an experience that they probably wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's so cool. I won't go into like a full interview because I know you're kind of on your way to an appointment. But I did want to bring you on and to talk about Borrego Springs. Um, how far is it from LA? About a drive?
2.5 to 3 hours, depending obviously what time of
Yeah.
day what day you leave.
So it's past Temecula. Is
It's
is it
when
is
you hit to when
Temecula
you hit
on the way?
Temecula is on the way. Sometimes like leaving Long Beach, the GPS will wrap me through Temecula, and sometimes it'll wrap me through
Oh,
Oceanside.
okay.
So whether you go through Temecula or Oceanside, uh, once you hit those, you're like an hour and just under an hour and 15 minutes to Borrego.
Okay.
And it's sort of the same thing for Palm Springs or San Diego. Borrego's kind of less than an hour and a half from all of those places.
Okay. That's
And it's
actually not that
gorgeous.
far.
Like the drive from Temecula or Oceanside,
Yeah.
all of that, all the cortisol leaves the body. This because it's just like, oh my God, is this really here? It's so beautiful, and you go through areas where it's rocks, but there's something about the way that they're arranged that's gorgeous. And then there's flowers and there's trees, and you go through a lot, a lot. It's pretty amazing. As soon as I get through Temecula, I'm at peace and calm, and makes a big difference.
Okay. I'm gonna come after all your stuff that you're is happening for you in the next few weeks. I'm gonna come.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I look forward to hosting you there. That'll be great.
yeah, I can't wait. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm putting out the word that you're doing this, so hopefully
Thank you.
get some people coming from LA. And also, I
Thank
want to introduce Sherry Williams to you from Temecula,
Oh,
because
wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful.
I think you guys should know each other, and you
Most
know,
definitely. Oh,
yeah.
the Baker Brothers Jazz Band is going to be at the Borrego Art Institute in November.
Okay,
So that's a great jazz band.
cool.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking care of Doug. And it was nice talking with you and seeing you.
Nice to see you too. Good luck with all the stuff you're working on.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Um, well, that was an interesting one today. I think Facebook was really giving me some weird trouble. I don't know, man. You know, after 5 years, you would think that there's really not any trouble to be had, but technology. I just changed from Spectrum to AT&T, so I don't know. Maybe that's it. Anyway, I have my attention on this week, and I'm producing in the studio, and it's been a very interesting pull together. I've had to put out a few fires, but it's a good exercise in letting go. Anybody else into that? I'm just these days I'm really working on letting go and allowing the universe to, you know, have its own flow. Yeah, so for those of you in LA, I'll be back at Jinkies the following weekend, October 11th, because because this weekend I'll be in the studio. But I do have some players at, well, it's not called Jinkies anymore. It's called Brightside, but it's down in Santa Monica. If you want to start the Saturday off nice, it's 10:30 to 2, jazz, kind of casual, breakfast and lunch down in Santa Monica. And I'm there every Saturday. So next person I'm interviewing is next Monday, and it's Dan Radlauer, who I've interviewed before. He's a big band guy, and he has some new stuff that's happening, and so we're going to interview him again. Okay, I think that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty much doing Mondays, so keep in contact with me. You can check my website. I have a few Brazilian guitarists coming up, and I also am interviewing Alan Broadbent in November, and I'm working on Kenny Werner. So it should be fun.